it with music, beautiful music.
Hello, I'm Fred Miller, and this is my longtime collaborator, Clyde, who always seems to show up just as I'm about to start a program. Before we launch into the fun and funny in American popular song, a little bit about me. I was born in Albuquerque, had a wonderful classical piano teacher, and that would go on very faithfully in, opera, classical music. And then right on my 13th birthday, the Beatles arrived in America, and then my musical tastes were now divided between classical music and the great rock songs of the 60s. And that would go on through high school until the summer after I graduated. A friend showed me an advertisement for a big rock festival taking place in upstate New York. And we were up for an adventure after high school. And so I said, let's go. So we hitchhiked from New Mexico to the Woodstock Festival. I even managed to show up in the poster. But that was it for rock music for me, and really, I guess it was the peak of the rock age. But I didn't want to be a rock musician. I did want to be a musician. I didn't know what. I didn't want to be a classical musician exactly either. I didn't feel I was cut out for that. I went to college very briefly, then left and toured around the country in my VW Bug, and finally ended up in Greenwich Village. And at some point, somebody gave me an album of Ella Fitzgerald singing Cole Porter. That was it. The music of the great golden age of American popular song. Gershwin, Porter, Kern, Rogers, Berlin, Fred Astaire, Judy Garland, Ethel Merman, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby. And then I came up with the idea of a lecture in song, each one being a profile of a great personality or some aspect of American popular song. I started with 6 programs, and now to date there are 75 different lectures in song, each one described in detail at fredmillermusic.com. This program falls under the novelty category. When you're smiling, the fun and the funny in American popular song. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, so stop your sighing. Be happy again. God knows, nothing's to be miserable about in this world. So anything comic, fun, the funny, always welcome. And nothing does it better than American popular song. What is comedy? I mean, one could get very scientific about it, but it really is an art. And really, to really get down to brass tacks, you just know it when you feel it and when you see it. You know that's comedy. So I'm not guaranteeing you're going to be rolling on the floor holding your sides. It's so hilarious, but I'm hoping you'll stop your sighing and be happy again. So keep on smiling, 'cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. One thing about life, it's one of everything's contrasting. Comedy, tragedy. There's one always sort of replaces. Back and forth we go. Think of 1914. I mean, here now, set against the backdrop of one of the most tragic events in history, World War I. You have songs and people needing just to kind of let go and be silly here. Way down in the Congo land lived a happy chimpanzee. She loved a monkey with a long tail. Lordy, how she loved him each night. He would find her there swinging in the coconut tree. And the monkey gay at the break of day loved to hear her chimpy say, "Abba dabba 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 dabba," said the chimpy to the monk. "Abba dabba 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 dabba," said the monkey to the chimp. All night long they chatter away, all day long they were happy and gay, swinging and singing in a honky-tonky way. Abba dabba 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 means monk I love but you. Dabba 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 in monkey talk means chip I love you too. Then the big baboon one night in June, he married them and very soon they went up on their abba dabba honeymoon. So along comes the miserable Guns of August, 1914, and several years go by. America is not in the war yet, and just about 1917, there was a certain songwriter named Irving Berlin who had not become an American citizen yet. He was naturalized and then immediately was drafted to go into the war. Went out to a camp on Long Island, and the captain there, I guess, knew who he was and suggested maybe, might write some musical sort of frivolity here featuring all the soldiers themselves, something to raise money and morale for the war effort. Berlin would never ever let an opportunity like that go by, and he took the whole world with him to what could be a really sort of dreary experience. He made comedy out of it. The other day I chanced to meet a soldier friend of mine. He'd been in camp for several weeks and he was looking fine. His muscles had developed and his cheeks were rosy red. I asked him how he liked the life, and this is what he said. Oh, how I hate to get up in the morning. Oh, how I'd love to remain in bed. For the hardest blow of all is to hear the bugler call. You gotta get up, you gotta get up, you gotta get up this morning.